Dylan Stratford has Meadow Valley Star in race 9 on Saturday at Melton, and Dylan, it was a good win last time out, but it was a bit of an adventure.
Yeah, it was. It was a little bit scary. I wouldn't even say at times. It was kind of scary the whole way. I don't think I took a breath the whole race. He just never got comfortable. He got a little bit stirred up at the start. Sort of lost his rhythm. Anthony, did the right thing. He sort of pulled him back out of the start because I thought he was going to gallop. So he sort of had to give him a head start. But obviously, at least he was still trotting. But look, from that point on, he just never got a chance to get rolling, get in his rhythm. He's just such a big horse, and this track, even though he trains for every day, in a race setting, it's just not suitable for him. So he never found his rhythm, but. He got to the home straight, and he was at that point able to balance up and let down. And look, his ability sort of won him that race, nothing else. So it's a positive going forward. But hopefully we don't do that again.
That is one big positive to come out of it. He does have a ton of natural ability.
Yeah, and that saved him. It saved him a couple of times last year too. Is that his motor is just that big that it gets him out of trouble. But obviously, once you start taking on the really good horses, they're all got really big motors, so you can't be doing it in the big races.
You mentioned he's got a big motor. That's not the only big thing about him. He is a monster. Does that present its own set of challenges when training?
It does, and it's why we've been so patient with him. And he's still very lightly raced, and he'll continue to be lightly raced even through this year. We've got our main targets that we'll pick out, but we won't send him to the well too many times. Look, obviously the tighter bends, they don't really suit him, and because he's so big, he's so gangly, when he does get out of rhythm, those legs, they just start firing everywhere. So it does set its own challenges, but he's the type of horse that he's only going to get better with age. So if he's doing this now, it's pretty exciting to think what he can do in the future.
He's got a couple of races in mind for spring. Which way are we going to head?
Yeah, so look, our main aim is the Derby. Always has been. That's if you train a lot of trotters, that's one of the absolute best races you could think to win. So. Even just to have a horse to be in the races, or to be heading for the race is exciting. So that's his main aim. And then obviously he'll have the 3-year-old Vickford at the end of the season as well. They'll be his two main aims for this year.
You've had a couple of handy horses. How does he stack up with the horse you've trained previously?
I think about that quite regularly. Obviously Naked Ambition was a really smart horse, but had a lot go against her as a 3-year-old. She won quite a few races early on as an early 3-year-old too. I think on their track work, if you compare them at the same time, they're probably pretty similar, but I think something about this fella, he just lifts when he gets to the races. He's just got that. There's something about him that I haven't seen in a horse I've trained myself before. There's just something about him.
And he's got plenty of personality too.
He does have plenty of personality. He's a lovely horse to have around the stables. He's very friendly, very, very laid back. Loves people. He's a great horse to have around, and then once he gets on the track, he sort of knows it's go time, and he's got his quirks and that too. So he's definitely got some personality.
Since that run at Cranbourne, have you done anything differently on the training track?
We have. Just small changes, no big changes. Don't want to upset his mind too much, but just a few little changes, and obviously still trying to keep him relaxed. About a month ago, after his first trial, he started to get really fired up, and we'd still been working on that leading into that race last week. And I think he's really starting to relax now, and he's found his rhythm. He's had a couple of trials and a race under his belt. He's starting to get a bit more comfortable in what he's doing, so that's been positive. And then we've just done a little bit of muscle work on his back end. He had massage and chiropractor work and that kind of stuff, just keeping him loose and supple and behind, because being a big horse, he does tend to tighten up. He's pretty tight over the back end after the last start. So all those things play a pretty big part in how he can trot around those bends. So we've done a lot of work on that. And he had a pretty solid hit out this morning. He still trotted a little awkwardly on the last bend, but probably not as bad as what he had been leading into the Cranbourne race. So we're sort of getting on top of it there, but it'll always be an ongoing thing with him.